Okay, imagine you're standing on an African savanna 50,000 years ago. You're hungry, really hungry. You haven't eaten properly in days. In the distance, you see two animals, a cow-like antelope grazing peacefully, and a lion. Both are made of meat, both contain calories, both could theoretically feed your entire group. So here's the question. Why did humans end up building entire industries around eating animals like cows, sheep, goats, and pigs, but almost never around eating lions? Why are there billions of cows on Earth today and only a few thousand lions? Why is a hamburger normal, but a lion burger sounds like something from a post-apocalyptic movie? At first, the answer seems obvious. Lions are dangerous, cows aren't. Case closed. Except that's not actually the reason. Ancient humans hunted mammoths. They hunted giant bison. They hunted animals that could crush a person into the ground without slowing down. Danger alone never stopped humans. So, what really happened? Why did one group of animals become dinner, while the other became something we almost never eat? The answer reveals one of the most important rules in all of nature. And once you see it, you start noticing it everywhere. Let's go. First, we need to understand something about food chains. Every ecosystem runs on energy. Plants capture sunlight. Herbivores eat plants. Predators eat herbivores. Simple. But here's the problem. Energy gets lost at every step. A lot of it. When a zebra eats grass, most of that energy doesn't become zebra meat. The zebra uses it. Running, breathing, growing, staying alive. Then a lion eats the zebra. And once again, most of that energy disappears into the lion's daily survival. Biologists call this trophic efficiency. And the numbers are brutal. Roughly 90% of energy is lost every time you move up a level in the food chain. Imagine feeding 100 pounds of plants to herbivores. You might get 10 pounds of herbivore meat. Feed that herbivore meat to predators. Now you get roughly 1 pound of predator meat. Nature is running a business. Predators are expensive employees. Very expensive. This means a lion is one of the least efficient food sources imaginable. To create one lion, the ecosystem had to support countless antelope, zebras, buffalo, and other prey animals first. You're basically eating the final, most costly version of the calories. Humans figured this out long before they understood the mathematics. Not consciously, practically. A hunter looking at a herd of grazing animals saw abundance. A hunter looking at a lion saw competition. The lion was already eating the food. Now, think about domestication. What makes a good farm animal? Most people think size or taste, but the real answer is efficiency. A good farm animal converts plants into meat as cheaply as possible. Cows do that, goats do that, sheep do that. Lions absolutely do not. Imagine trying to raise lions like cattle. First, you need food for the lions. Lots of food. What do lions eat? Other animals. Now you need to raise herds of herbivores just to feed your lions. Then, eventually you eat the lions. You've created an extra step that wastes enormous amounts of energy. It's like growing corn to feed cows, to feed lions, so you can finally eat the lions. The math becomes ridiculous. Every civilization eventually arrives at the same conclusion. Skip the middleman. Eat the cow. Now, here's where things get even worse for lions. Predators are difficult roommates. A cow spends most of its day eating grass. A lion spends most of its day thinking about eating things, including you. Domestication requires a specific personality. Animals must tolerate humans. They must tolerate living together. They must breed reliably in captivity. They must follow routines. This is surprisingly rare. Out of thousands of large animal species on Earth, only a handful were suitable for domestication. Cows passed the test. Lions failed spectacularly. A lion isn't trying to cooperate with your farming operation. A lion is evaluating whether your farming operation might be edible. Even today, keeping large cats is enormously difficult. They're powerful, unpredictable, territorial, and expensive. Ancient farmers didn't need a scientific study to discover this. One failed experiment was usually enough. Then there's reproduction. This part matters more than people realize. Cows reproduce relatively quickly. Their offspring can be raised in groups. Entire herds can expand over time. Predators reproduce much more slowly. They produce fewer young, require more territory, and consume huge amounts of food while growing. A farming system based on lions would constantly be running at a loss. A farming system based on cows generates surplus. Civilization loves surplus. Surplus creates cities. Surplus creates trade. Surplus creates history. Now, let's talk about something most people never consider. Predators often taste worse. Not always, but frequently. Carnivores tend to have tougher meat, stronger flavors, more parasites, more disease risks. Historically, humans across many cultures have preferred herbivores: deer, cattle, sheep, goats, buffalo, antelope. These animals consistently provide large amounts of relatively safe, reliable meat. Predators rarely offer the same reward. Even when people hunted lions, tigers, wolves, or bears, it usually wasn't because they wanted dinner. It was because they wanted the animal gone. Protection, status, defense, competition. The meat was often secondary. The lion wasn't food. The lion was a problem. And this relationship goes back a very long time. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans and large predators competed for the same prey. Lions wanted antelope. Humans wanted antelope. Wolves wanted deer. Humans wanted deer. In many ecosystems, predators weren't resources. They were rivals. Imagine owning a restaurant and discovering another restaurant keeps stealing your customers. You don't buy that restaurant for lunch. You compete with it. That's essentially what happened between humans and many large predators. We weren't looking at lions and thinking food. We were looking at lions and thinking competition. There's another fascinating detail. When archaeologists examine ancient human hunting sites, they repeatedly find evidence of prey selection. Humans weren't randomly killing whatever moved. They were strategic. They targeted animals that provided the highest caloric return for the lowest risk. A large grazing animal could feed dozens of people. A lion offered less meat, more danger, and greater uncertainty. Evolution rewards efficiency. So did ancient hunters. Eventually, agriculture amplified this process. Once humans began raising livestock, the question became even simpler. Why spend years feeding a predator? When you could eat the animal the predator would have eaten? It's one of the easiest economic decisions in history. And every major civilization reached the same answer independently. Raise herbivores. Eat herbivores. Let predators stay predators. Now, to be clear, humans have eaten lions. People have eaten almost every large animal on Earth at some point. There are historical records of lion meat being consumed in parts of Africa. Ancient Romans sometimes displayed exotic animals, including lions, in spectacles, and occasionally consumed unusual meats. But these were exceptions, curiosities, not food systems. Nobody built a civilization around lion farming, because the numbers never worked. And that's the real answer. We didn't choose cows over lions because cows were tastier, or because lions were scary. We chose cows because nature had already done the accounting. Every lion is made out of cows, antelope, zebras, and countless other herbivores. The calories have already passed through multiple layers of the food chain. By the time they reach the lion, most of the energy is gone. The lion is the luxury version of the same calories. Expensive, rare, inefficient. The cow is the original product, abundant, reliable, profitable. So when ancient humans looked across the landscape, they weren't really choosing between cows and lions. They were choosing between the source of the calories and the animal already eating them. And across thousands of generations, on every continent where large herbivores existed, humanity arrived at exactly the same conclusion. If you want to feed a civilization, eat what the lion eats. Not the lion,